Parental preference at bedtime can be exhausting, frustrating, and confusing. You might not know why your child is preferring the other parent over you or when there's going to be an end in sight, but let's talk about all those things and how to get through this. The first thing to really understand when it comes to parental preference at bedtime, or really any time, because it's not just a bedtime thing, your child is going to go through different ages and stages. That might mean that even for each child, the reason for going through this preference may be different at different points of their life and development, and it's also going to vary from child to child. One child who is 8 months old may go through this preference because they're going through separation anxiety. Another child who's 8 months old might be going through this for routine reasons. Now, let's jump into all the details about why this might be happening for any child. Reason number one is just plain old attachment. Your child is going to have the strongest attachment with their primary caregiver. And if that caregiver is not the one who is putting them to bed at night or at nap time, then they may show preference and reach for or call for their primary caregiver. Now, this is totally normal and we will talk about how to combat it, but let's talk about the next reason. Reason number two I touched on briefly is about the routine. So let's say mom and dad have two different routines for bedtime, whether mom's putting the kid to bed or dad's putting the kid to bed. Maybe mom does a lotion massage and puts them in their pajamas and nurses to sleep, while dad does a whole bunch of songs, singing, dancing, and a little bit of cuddling before going to bed. These are two completely different routines, sending two completely different messages to your child. So yes, they're going to have a preference. Maybe they want to be nursed to sleep, or maybe they want to have some rough and tumble play before they go to bed. Then obviously they're going to show their preference when routines are different. Now, if you don't have a bedtime routine, or you do fall into that category of chaos and mom's doing one thing, dad's doing another thing, kids not falling asleep independently and they're up all night long, this is where you can book me for a one-to-one consultation. I will help you develop a proper bedtime routine, a daytime schedule, what to do at bedtime, middle of the night, nap times, all the things that have to do with your child's sleep. So check out my sleep consultation packages in the description box down below. But let's jump on to reason number three, why your child is developing a parental preference. This is going to fall under the category of comfort and soothing. So like I said before, if you have a mom who might be nursing to sleep, that is very comforting for a lot of babies, and maybe they have a preference for that. I've had a lot of moms come to me and say, I'm a human pacifier. My baby won't go to sleep unless I'm nursing them. Dad is zero help because he doesn't have milky boobs. If that is the case, then we need to change that comfort and soothing association, but that's a video for a different day. Actually, check out this video up here for different ways to help your baby learn how to self-soothe. In terms of comforting and soothing, maybe one parent rocks and maybe bounces the baby to sleep a little bit differently than the other parent, so maybe your child is going to show a preference for that style instead. Now, reason number four that your child might be developing a parental preference at bedtime is going to come down to personality and temperament. That goes for both the baby slash toddler, because this also goes for toddlers, or the parent. So obviously your baby is going to have their own personality, which is going to become more and more apparent as they get older. If you're dealing with a toddler who is having this preference, then they're going to be very vocal and you are going to know all about their personality and temperament. But if your baby is a little bit younger, you will still be able to see these personality traits in them, and you will see which parent they are gravitated towards, because it's going to show as being comforted and soothed by one parent more than the other in forms of crying versus not crying. Sorry that you're gonna have to deal with some of the drama in there, but it's gonna happen. So the other side of this is that your child is going to feed off of your energy. So if, for example, mom gets really stressed out by baby crying or not accepting the soothing that the parent is trying to give, then the baby is going to become more stressed out. So then perhaps dad comes in with a more calm, cool, collected demeanor, and he is able to calm the baby down. Your baby is going to feed off of your energy. Your toddler is 100% feeding off of your energy. The energy that you are putting into the room is what is setting the tone for your baby's night. So it is so important to be calm. Reason number five is as Simple and easy as it comes is just age and stage of development. I touched on this briefly, but yes, your child is going to cyclically and predictably go through stages of being more drawn to mom or more drawn to dad. This is going to be different if you have a boy or a girl, and whatever your primary caregiver situation is at home, it may be a little bit different for different circumstances, but this happens with every child at several different ages and stages, and it will come back. Like if you think like, okay, my kid went through a phase where they were really attached to me and now they're really attached to dad, great, I get a break. It's just a break, because they are going to come back in that cycle to being super attached to you and literally want to be like a koala bear / kangaroo, whatever, just attached to you all the time. So enjoy your freedom while you have it, because their attachment is coming back. So my tips in dealing with this are going to come down to 4 main things. It's consistency, predictability, security, and comfort. All 4 of those things are going to collaboratively help your child know what to expect no matter who is putting them down to bed every night, and exactly what is going to come next no matter who is putting them down for bed that night. So kind of like we talked about before, if you have one parent doing one bedtime routine, another parent doing it in a completely different way, your child's going to have a preference because they know they're going to get what they want with a different parent. But if you're completely consistent and predictable no matter who is putting them to bed, this goes for parents, grandparents, nannies, babysitters, daycare providers, like whoever it is, the more consistency and predictability that you have, the more willing your child is going to be to accept any changes or whatever your routine might be. Now, of course, being secure and comfortable in their environment is also going to come at play here, because if you are familiar with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it is this big triangle, and the very first thing that your baby needs is safety and security. It's not even just for babies, it is for all humans in the entire world. When your baby is feeling safe and secure, then they are able to thrive in other areas of their life. So if your child is not feeling safe and secure, they're going to be stressed out, their cortisol levels are going to be increased, and then they're not going to be able to sleep because cortisol is going to counteract melatonin. There's your little like science psychology lesson right there on your child's ability to sleep in the first place. They need to have that safety and security, they need to feel comfortable, and they need to be in a safe environment. If you have any questions, or if you're not sure how to help your baby learn how to self-soothe or just accept whichever parent is putting them down for bedtime, because you probably need a consistent bedtime routine no matter who's putting them down, you can always reach out and set up a one-on-one consultation. Those packages will be in the description box down below. I will also put them in the comment section of this video. And keep blooming! Mwah!